All right, so that's objective 2. So now we're going to dispel some myths about randomness. So the first myth is called the law of averages. It says, suppose you toss a coin 6 times and you get tails, 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 tails. I don't know, I lost track count, right? But you get all tails. What are the odds? Well, some would think the next toss is more likely to be heads. That is a myth. When you toss a coin, each toss is independent. There's this idea of called independence, which we'll talk about more. So because of independence, you still have a 0.5 chance of heads. Or tails. So again, just because the tosses before have all been tails doesn't mean you're going to get a heads on the next one. Okay. And then this idea of runs, it says same outcomes in a row are common in the short run, but things do even out in the long run. Again, this idea of things even out in the long run is important. So again, you might see questions like this. Suppose I toss 5 coins, right? And I get tails, 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 and then heads, heads. Would you think this is as likely, less likely, or more likely than getting, say, heads, tails, tails, heads, tails, right? Well, if you look at this one, you have 3 tails in a row and then 2 heads. This one, they're kind of all mixed up, but there's still 3 tails and 2 heads. So the outcome is the same, it's just the ordering is different. These have the same probability of occurring, same chance of occurring. And this is the idea of runs. People don't think that runs can happen, but they can. Okay? So be aware of these 2 myths. All right, so let's take a look at example 2 here. Example 2 says, aren't we due for a boy? A husband and wife decide to have children until they have at least 1 child of each gender. Uh-oh. The couple had 7 girls in a row. Whoa, buddy. Their doctor assured them that they were much more likely to have a boy for their next child after all those girls. Explain why the doctor is wrong. Right? I get this question all the time. I have 3 girls. Are you going to try for that boy? Are you going to try for that boy? I don't know. So again, we have to say that the doctor's claim is based on the law of averages. Now, some people might think this is called runs too, but it's not about the runs, right? This is the law of averages, and it's about how he interprets it, right? How he says they're much more likely to have a boy for their next child. It's the interpretation. So the doctor's claim is based on the law of averages. And I put law of averages in quotation marks because it's not a real thing, right? It's a myth. The law of averages. This couple is just as likely to have a girl as a boy. To have a girl as a boy for their next child. Right? So the doctor's claim is based on the law of averages. This couple is just as likely to have a girl as a boy for their next child. Okay. All right, great. Last objective's coming.